meeting for, I will officially open the Park and Recs meeting for Thursday, the, what is it, 19th. Let's see, this meeting is being audio and video recorded. Any additions or deletions from the agenda?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. Not seeing any, we'll move forward to approval of the minutes for the September 17th meeting.
Yep, I'll approve that.
Thank you, Nikki. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Meryl. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And the opposed, seeing none, we will accept them as approved, and we'll turn to Marina.
So we received two letters in reference to yoga classes at Children's Beach on the bandstand. One letter came from yoga instructor Bettina Brewer. It's just a letter of thanks for another opportunity to use bandstand and teach yoga classes. Just a reminder, she usually starts teaching end of June and she goes through Labor Day. It's from Monday to Saturday, and her class from 7:30 to 8:30. The fee for the use of bandstand is based on 15% of her gross sales, and usually at the end of the season she would bring us a check and a letter. So she brought a check this year, so the fee was $1,590 that the fee collected for use of a bandstand, and that fee usually get deposited to the Park and Rec revolving account revenue from the use of public property. So she would like to continue teaching yoga classes again next year. She's asking if if you might consider doing class from 8 till 9 instead of 7:30 to 8:30, but we can discuss it later when she's going to submit actual application. And her another request was she asked if DPW can send the floors. And another letter we got is just from one of your attendees of yoga classes. They just shared that they had a great experience and they would like her to continue giving yoga classes at the Children's Beach.
Great. And nothing else from you, Marina, on the agenda?
No
Okay.
events, that's it.
All right, it's slowing down for you. That's good. Charlie, you have the floor.
Yes. So I guess we can share my screen here. And all right, so does everyone see this up the Article 10 punch list?
Yeah.
All right, so this is basically what I'll email out to everybody here, and we'll sending to coaches of the youth leagues to send out, so everyone can kind of have this with them for special town meeting. It just kind of bullet pointed everything that we're looking for, or we'll, what's included in the $3.8 million that we're looking for to do the field expansion. Kind of broken down by segment, so as a quick reference sheet to have. And then at the end here, I kind of bulletized the letter that the commission sent out before the ballot vote earlier this year. So just, the questions with the grass, the grass maintenance, the maintenance contract that's there, addressing the irrigation. The turf maintenance is the big thing. So I received some bids on the turf maintenance, and it came in above the original 7,000 to 8,000 as anticipated.
Yeah.
Per service. So rather than trying to get someone in here and do a quick procurement for a single service, we're in the midst right now of I have will be hopefully a 3-year contract for multiple services a year that's being bid on currently. So instead of trying to get someone come in to just do one, at a time, piecemeal it that way, we'll be on a contract for 3 years. And then included in that will be the deep cleaning for the, if they do a full inspection of the synthetic turf fiber, make any, if there's any tears, they make those repairs. They're going to disinfect the field for us. And then once a year, they'll do this GMAX testing to see where we are as far as our infill. The other one here that's a little bit different from the letter is the field replacement. So we're about 9 years old in this field with a comfortable life expectancy of 15 years. And we've had fairly light use on this field. As I've kind of said before, it's not like there's a college football team or a college soccer team out there really working this field hard. It's been fairly lightly used. So I think it's in fairly good condition. And when we get this first maintenance done, we'll get hopefully a report back on the actual condition of the field so we can kind of project the lifespan here. So currently there are no, plans to replace it. That was one of the questions that came up at town meeting. We'll kind of cross that bridge as we get closer to that 15-year lifespan. And hopefully by that point, we're starting in on building more natural grass fields.
Right, so this includes the building of a new field, does it not?
Yeah, so this 3.8 million
Yeah,
so the project includes the construction of a brand new field, plus it's called restoration work of the 2 existing fields because they're pretty compact. And so we'll be basically going down 6 or 8 inches into that root zone and kind of starting those fields over in a sense.
okay,
And then as everything's included in here from there'll be sports lighting, parking lot lighting, the hydro seeding up. There's 50 trees of 2 to 3 inch caliper that will be planted on site. Everything from bike racks to soccer goals, line painting. So it's pretty comprehensive. That's what we're getting for this 3.8 million.
now, I think one of the things that we have to be prepared to address in addition to this is possibly the overuse of existing fields, both town and school. And maybe make the point with the failure of the school complex last year, these fields are getting even more and more use. And Jill shared something, and I'm sure you got a copy, Charlie, that shows, how much play is on those fields. And I just think we need to be able or be ready to address that, right?
Sure, I can pull from. So we have a matrix that was done for the Parks and Rec master plan that shows the usage of our youth sports,
Right.
which is probably actually a little out of date. And I can also pull the matrix off of the school's master plan, which shows their current usage and overusage. We are actually currently hosting Cyrus Pierce.
Yeah.
Youth soccer is playing at Delta because I got a call from them that they were out of space. So we're hosting their practices. They're still holding their games at the school, but they were out of practice space. And early this year, we were able to help the varsity boys and girls soccer with preseason practice space at Nobodier because they were still doing some prep to their fields. So we're really starting to see a good relationship develop with the school as far as
Right.
sharing space. And I'm working with Travis Lombardi, for when we can to get the high school teams on the synthetic turf before they go off to compete, when we can.
Especially prior to the playoffs.
Oh yeah, especially playoffs.
Yeah.
But even just regular games, it makes a difference, especially for sports like field hockey or soccer where the ball interacts,
Sure.
with the turf. And so our ability to add, especially this extra grass field at Nobody will help then free up that turf so we can even more try to involve and help out, our athletic programs as they're traveling off island, because so many schools and so many places off island do play on synthetic turf that we're at a little bit of a disadvantage when we travel off.
Right. And I think the other thing that comes to mind is that you had done something to show, to sort of show what we have been doing to the fields and to the turf field for those people who remember it 10 years ago, but haven't been out there recently.
Yeah,
I mean, the grass fields look great.
I would
now.
implore anybody, if you haven't been out to Delta or nobody, or go out and take a look. There's even a big marked improvement from last year to this year. You know, we are part of our fertilizer plan is we soil test in the spring. So I send those soil tests out to UMass for analyzation. They tell us, you know, exactly what we need to put down for sports turf. And then we, with our contractor, formulate our fertilizer package.
So as we go into the meeting, which is what, 3 weeks away or 2 weeks away?
Yep, on the 7th.
Yeah. Should we get our ducks in a row as to who might answer what, or are we going to go through you to respond to all of those things? Do you want us?
Yeah, I think, you know, the more people from this group stand up that are there, you know, the more diverse people they're hearing from.
Yeah.
If questions are raised, and you know, so again, everyone will have this sheet with this information, so they should be able to stand up. I can obviously be there to, you know, step in with any extra detail, but I think rather than having everything just come from, you know, one person, you know, have a bunch of people speak positively on it, I think will help.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of the Article 10 stuff, which kind of leads me into the timeline, which hopefully that just switched over.
Yep.
So the timeline, I sat down and did this as part of capital planning. So this takes us through basically 2029, and these dates kind of all revolve around our approval at special town meeting. So if we delay past, you know, special town meeting for nobody, or a lot of these dates will kick down for some things. Other things that aren't, you know, especially when it comes to nobody or in Delta, those are very intermingled, because we can't take, you know, a field offline somewhere, you know, to say to do the expansion work at Delta that we've talked about without having the fields at nobody or to be able to carry all the sports while that construction happens.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if you all had a chance to look at this in the packet, if you had any questions about it.
You know, one of the other things, it would be nice not just to have the Parks and Rec Commission speak to this, but to have some of the coaches, or be great to have Travis Lombardi speak to the need and the cooperation between town and school department now. So if you have a chance to talk to him and see if he would be willing to speak up at that meeting, he has, you know, a voice that touches a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been in contact with, you know, the youth program boards.
Yeah.
About asking, you know, for their support and coach supports, and you know, I sent that Article 10 in the annual town meeting questions to the soccer board. They had their meeting last night, the youth soccer, to discuss it and ask, you know, for their support to come to the town meeting and support this. And
yeah, the hard part is this could be at the very end of a long meeting, and having those young parents stay through for when this comes up could be a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the only downside is that the first COR short-term rental. Jill?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you thought, has Libby mentioned anything about moving this article up a little closer to the beginning?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything directly. I had heard through a third party that maybe they were going to try to move some of these articles ahead of short term, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, some of the budget articles. Yeah. Okay. I
Jill,
think the real message is there's like, you know, sorry, Mike, you go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just think the real message is that we don't have enough fields, right? And so that's the message. We don't have enough fields. We're juggling fields. People are switching fields. They're not on a consistent field. We're doing the best we can. We're having to pick up from the school because they don't have enough fields, and these fields are grass, right? So they've got to be maintained. They've got to be looked after, right? And I think
And-
that alone is a really strong message.
Yeah. I would say, and as the student population increases, which it has been doing over the last 10 years, more and more children are playing sports, more and more sports are being added, and it is really creating that pressure point on all of the fields. So I think that just reemphasizes your point.
Yeah, I mean, if every field on the island was lit, maybe we could deal with some of the fields we have, but they still have to be maintained. So I just think that alone, when people realize there is not enough time, the kids can't practice at 10 a.m. They don't get to do that on Wednesday.
Right.
So. And yeah, I'm really excited about this money, and I just hope a lot of people will stand up in favor of it. And we don't want to get sucked into any other debate other than this one, that we need more fields.
Right.
Yeah, and I was, I'm sure the question of the synthetic field will come up because it's all part of the same complex, but really we're not asking for money for it. We're not, trying to do it.
Yeah, Charlie, I don't even think you should say that personally. Because we do want more turf fields on the island. We all want that.
Yeah. Well, I just think at this stage, we need, if we're going to do anything anywhere, we need to, grass is the fastest way to go. It's nothing to contest it. So let's install that, while we can. This is the first step to, being able to make anything happen, because really, even if we were to break ground tomorrow, that field is going to need 2 years to grow and mature before we can open it for play. So it's, as part of the timeline here, even if we were to, get aggressive with the field and the programming, when we break ground to do the new field, we would probably take the south field offline at nobody here and get those two fields working together.
Right.
Because each grass field is going to take 2 years to kind of reach maturity for it to be able to play. So that north field will get a little bit overstressed for 2 seasons, but then it will get addressed and we'll be able to spread that workload out between the 2 new fields. And then again, as we move into Delta, we could take that whole complex offline at once, but that will be 2 years from when it's, from when it's seeded. So that's, it was really shocking to go through this timeline and kind of end up, all the way down in, 2029.
Right. Yeah.
As to when, the Delta fields are finally fully open for use. We've got a lot of other things at Delta that are in, kind of in the plans, in playgrounds and tennis courts and basketball courts. And those could obviously open up to get people into that complex, but the grass fields, if we were to kind of stick to this timeline, it's 2029 before we're fully open and operational.
Right.
Jill,
I have one more question.
I have a question for you, Jill,
Sure.
and Charlie, but who could make the decision to push this article up? Is that Libby or is that Sarah Alger?
I think actually it's Libby and Denise Cronell on the finance committee, and I can talk to Denise about that and see if they're, what they're thinking, if they're thinking about moving things around.
Okay.
But I'm not really. Yeah, I'll touch base with Denise and ask her though, Mike. I will.
Thank you.
I have one more question for you guys, which is the infield, because you're going to replace the infill in the turf field, right?
Not as yet. As we'll find out exactly the standing of that when we have our GMAX test done.
Okay, so that's not part of this budget.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not touching the synthetic field at all with this.
Okay.
app.
Okay, I thought that you were going to maybe replace the infill or something.
No,
So
if we get to the point where
question.
if we get to the point where if they come back with the GMAX test and say, all right, it's we're 10 years in, you're at X capacity, we need to redo the infill, that's when I would look at going with maybe a different product. Like the schools looking at that Brock fill, which is a wood fiber based product instead of the chrome rubber, but we would address that when we need to.
But the chrome rubber does have PFAS in it. Yeah. So if this comes up, then, you know, people might ask that. I'm just throwing that out there as something that might come up.
Yeah. I mean, if the testing comes back that says we need to address the infill, then we would do so.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
I'm excited.
as of this 3.8 million, it's, you know, there's nothing in there that involves the synthetic turf field. It's all about the new natural grass field site improvements, and then the 2 existing ones getting some rehab and some love.
But it's getting some lighting.
What's that?
The turf field's going to get some lighting, isn't it?
Yep, actually, I believe all 4 fields,
That's amazing.
which would be great for this time of year with practices.
Yep.
Yes, it would.
You know,
Even if you take a grass field offline, if you have lighting on some of the others, you won't lose field time. It might be not as convenient, but you won't lose field time.
oh, it would open us up, especially for you know, when we get into the playoff season, which again in the fall is late November, December, where it gets dark early. With lights on that, even if we only had them on the synthetic field, it would make assisting with the public schools requests for playoff time. We could put them right after the youth sports play, and they could go for 2 hours into the evening instead of trying to cram in or shift the schedule around. We could just add them on. It would be great.
Here's the question though, is that going to bring a different group out, the night sky group, that might push back on this project because of the lighting?
I would. It's possible. I mean, there's plenty of lighting around between NERSA, which is right next door, the Nantucket Racket Association. They've all got lights. The Great Harbor Yacht Club has their tennis courts right there with lights. You've got the airport with lights. It's a big industrial area right across the street. That's all lit through the night. So we wouldn't really be adding to anything. You've got the airport right there.
Right. The point would be that there is no housing in close proximity that would be adversely affected, and that new lighting technology is more sophisticated than it once was, directing that lighting, down and not out as much. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I'm about as close as you can live myself personally.
Yeah.
To that field. So I'm right across the street from NERSA through the south field. So it's right there, and it's I don't think with the way the new technology is, it's not like the old days in the old fields where you got these big lights just blasting everywhere. Everything's very focused down. So
correct.
We should run into no issues.
Correct. Nikki or Meryl, any questions or concerns?
No questions. I would say that time is of the essence. So if we could get this done, moved up, a little bit for the special town meeting, I think it would be awesome. Like you said, because of, parents of young kids, that they're going to need to get home. So I think it would be amazing if we could get that done. And, just definitely, I'm more than happy to stand up and at town meeting and talk about it also. And take questions. I'd love to, because just like you said, we need to get some, different, all sorts of people talking about this and getting it done. It's imperative.
Yeah. Meryl?
Yeah, I second all what Nikki said. Like it's nice that you outlined all of this, because it is it's such a big undertaking. And seeing it in the timeline is really helpful, and the shorter, quick reference guide. I think that'll be great.
Yeah, I agree.
The timeline was eye-opening for myself as I was writing it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, I'm out at 6 years out,
Right.
7 years out, and that happened very fast.
Yeah, and that's why time is of the essence, because it is. You have to be able to to keep up with all of the work that needs doing on it. It's not just, you know, everybody saying, oh, we need new fields, and then they're not being taken care of. Look what it actually takes to get that done. So it does need approving right away, you know?
Yep. Well, thank you for that work, Charlie. I see, Tom, did you have any questions, or were you just checking in?
Just hopping on. Thank you.
Okay. David, anything of note from your end? Or Chantal?
No, I'm fine, Mike.
Thank you, David.
Nothing from my end either. Charlie, I'll be there. I won't be there to support you in this because I've been tagged for the assistant moderator role again, but I'll be cheering on from the other room.
Appreciate it. Mike, it looks like you have a hand up from Corey.
Corey, Martita.
You're on mute, Corey.
Corey, you're on mute. Corey, we see your hand up, but we can't hear you. Okay, let me just check with anybody else. Any other? I see a Drew Pat note on this. I don't know if Drew has any questions.
No, I sorry for coming in late. I just wanted to check in. Fortunately couldn't get here on time, but I know this is in very capable hands with Charlie.
Great.
For those of you who don't know, Drew is our new DPW director.
Ah, great.
Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie, do you want to wrap it up with anything?
I got Jill has a hand up.
Oh, Jill?
Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to take over here, but is there any value in somebody writing a letter to the Inky before November 7th? Or doing just an individual doing a Facebook post to remind people to come out and support Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
I just
mean,
don't think it's on people's radar screen and they know about it. So I was hoping somebody
Yeah.
might.
right. Yeah, we did discuss this at the last meeting about maybe getting something written up that we could actually share on social media, because you know, and maybe give to the current. So then we can put something out there so more people will be made aware of it. So I agree, Joe.
Yeah, I mean you know, everything we've got tonight with the Article 10 and the questions, you know, could be shared.
Great.
You know, certainly, and like I said, we'll be sending those out to the coaches and the parents of the youth sports. You know, looking for their support. So
Great.
I
Then
see
I'll
Corey
follow up.
logged back on. Did you have a question for us, Corey?
Yeah, sorry, I was having some technical difficulties. My phone was not letting me use my microphone, but it's working now. So I think I missed when the meeting is that you guys are having, or what day is this event for the town meeting?
It's your special town meeting is November 7th. It's a Tuesday.
Okay, and is that open to the public?
Yes.
I just
Yes,
make-
it will be, Corey, it will be a discussion and vote, most likely, that
Okay.
would then have to be voted on by ballot later, but it's a critical, what happened was that this came up in the regular annual meeting, was defeated, and then we sort of rallied the troops afterwards. It was the only thing defeated amongst how many millions of dollars spent. And I just think, you know, we maybe weren't as prepared to speak to it as I think we are now. So it is a very important discussion and vote.
Okay. Yeah, I only asked because I am a coach for the CPS middle school team, but I'm also the assistant director for the men's soccer league on Nantucket. And we've been talking about it all summer. And I want to make sure that I communicate the information correctly to them so that they can be there to provide support to you guys as well for the meeting. And that's the only reason I asked. I want to make sure that I'm giving them
that's terrific. That's terrific. You have there's a lot to be gained for all kinds of people, young and old, across the island.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate all you guys' hard work.
Yep. Charlie.
Yes.
Oh, Jill, is your hand still up?
Sorry, it is. I'll take it down, but I did want to see maybe Corey would write a letter. It's a perfect person to write a letter. He's got a men's soccer league with 100 people, I think. I mean, I can write it.
So we did have over 150 players and over 150 spectators that were non-players in our league this summer. And so we are very proud of our of our little league we have going on. And
Indeed.
we all would like to see more, and I think that this is a step in the right direction. So if you guys need anything from me, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to do what I can.
Charlie, do you have his email, his contact, Corey's?
I don't, but I can. I'm sure we can. We
Yeah,
can
if
try.
you can send that to Charlie and he can forward it to Jill, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you might have my email already, Charlie, because I think I'm on an email chain with you and Rachel Freeman. So I also work for the land bank.
Okay.
One of my numerous jobs.
All right. Yeah, I will. I should have it. If I don't, I can reach out through Rachel.
Sounds good.
Terrific. Charlie, anything else?
I think that's it. Like I said, feel free to. I'll email out that timeline and the questions and bullet points. So everyone has it. And feel free to distribute that as you like. It's all been here, in public meetings. So
Yeah, I may work on a letter too. I don't know if there's enough time to get it in and published before the vote, but there should be if it gets in next week, right?
Mhm.
yeah, and just for clarification, we just need the special town meeting vote. The ballot vote that happened earlier this year counts for this.
Oh, you wouldn't have a,
No, we got the yes at the ballot, which works well for us. So we just need the yes in the room.
okay, I, for some reason, thought that they would need that. So this is interesting. So we need to get it into either Thursday, the 26th of October's edition, or November 2nd's edition, which means it needs to be in probably well before that. I would say by the 30th or possibly the 27th.
Yeah, and then even
To
I think
the
that the current,
INN.
the current is a great way to go to get it on there.
Yeah,
So,
they can
social media.
turn it around faster, can't they?
Yeah, because they can they'll post it right to their
Yeah,
Instagram and social media pages and everything. It's a great way to reach, especially the younger population. They've got a pretty big following.
okay.
Absolutely. I think that's the key. Nantucket
Yeah.
Current is everywhere and everybody's getting it in their inbox these days. And the younger people read it. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Charlie, do you know how many people play soccer on island? Do you know how many people play lacrosse?
Well, I've got some rough numbers for the youth programs. The youth soccer program is about 450 kids. Youth lacrosse, I believe, is 300, and then Little League baseball, I believe, is around 250.
I think if I write a letter, I've been thinking about this, I would emphasize, what we need to do for our children is even more important post pandemic. And because, our kids are still seeing the effects. And our schools and our community are still seeing the effects of the pandemic. And it's more important than ever that we give them safe and healthy alternatives. So I think that's where I'm going with my thoughts in a letter.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Well, also the field usage is a great tool for you because you can say that is 10,000 hours that kids are not on their phones,
Yeah.
right? That they're connecting with human beings, which they weren't able to do in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll write something and have you vet it, Jill.
Sure, if you want to, Mike, I trust you. I'm not, I just want to encourage you all, like, we got to get it out there because I am worried that people will leave after the short-term rental articles. And, you know, I don't know what'll happen at special town meetings are funny like that.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed, maybe they can get a couple of these smaller items moved ahead of the big ticket, the big controversial items such as, you know,
Yeah, I'll check with Denise.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation for that. So it'd be nice to slide in and, you know, hey, maybe even fingers crossed it won't get called.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal world. It doesn't get called.
Right.
Be amazing.
Okay, well, you know what's interesting with that, Charlie, you weren't here, but when we were trying to sell the intermediate school, we spent weeks, and I can't tell you how many hours, preparing to address all kinds of questions, lining up different people to be prepared, and it wasn't called. You know, $40+ million was not called because I'd like to think people understood the need and it was a slam dunk. But that was pretty remarkable in my world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
maybe
amazing,
Jill's
Mike.
right.
That's why you have all this credibility. I think you're the right person to write a letter and stand up.
You know,
done
you
it.
lose that pretty quickly when you don't have the title anymore.
No, I think people still remember you, Mike.
Yeah, it's
I
a
do.
pretty small island, Mike. I don't think you faded that fast.
Okay.
You didn't.
Well,
We want you doing this. Because the
well, I'm all
connection
in.
of this
is a
field to the
great-
school is the most important connection to make.
Yeah.
We're not just having fields to accommodate, you know, not just summer. We're now accommodating the school. That's a whole
Right.
new level for Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move forward. If there are there any other questions or thoughts or concerns? Seeing none, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Yep. Second.
Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Meryl. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, and we are all set. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you very much. And,
Charlie, thank you. That's
I'll get
awesome.
that stuff emailed out to you.
All right,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye, sorry.